So in this video, I'll go through a very basic example of node voltage and how to solve it using KVL. So if we have a circuit that looks like this, obviously if you don't have all the nodes defined, you can go through that and do that. So you just define the nodes, then you take one as your reference, because remember, voltage is always with respect to 2 points from to, so it's a difference. So you need a reference. And what you would take as a reference is you can take the point that's connected to most of the elements in the circuit. So in this case, this point here, so as 0. So now, if I look at node 1, for instance, so V1, or voltage at node 1, is the voltage from 1 to the reference, which is 1 to 0. So it's not V10, but it's V. In other words, it's V1 minus V0, because again, voltage is always, it's a potential, it's always a difference. You never measure voltage just at one point. It's always from one point to with respect to another point. And the reason we kind of write just V1, because V0, we know it's just 0, because we're assuming the voltage at this point is 0 volts. So now, so then V2, let's see, look at V2 is also V20, which is V2 minus V0. And what is V2? If I go from here, V2 to here, so V2 is this voltage here, which is also this voltage here. So this here is equal to V2. So V2 is equal to 2 volts. So V2. Now let's do V3. So again, V30, V3 minus V0. Again, V0 is just 0 because that's a reference. Unless you take the reference as something other than 0, then you can plug in the number. But anyway, V3 is from here, from this node to 0, which is 12. So 12, that means V3 is just 12 volts. Then the only one we don't know is V1. So V1, then if I do KVL, so for instance, the voltage from point 1, which is V1, minus V2 is equal to 4 volts. So the voltage from this point to this point is the same as this source here. So then I know V2, so V1 is just 4 plus V2. So V1 is 4 plus V2, which is 2. So V1 equal to 6 volts. So I solved for all 3 voltages. So sometimes there could be a lot of things going on in the circuit, but they might be just a distraction. For instance, I did not have to use the capacitor. I did not have to use this resistor here. So it's just, and some of these resistors I didn't have to use. So they're just kind of like, they can be confusing or distracting. So thank you and have a great day.